Don't throw away your wilted roses. Watch this first. If you are a guinea pig parent, it's important that you know that guinea pigs can, in fact, eat roses. So I am going to tell you some of the benefits of roses, and then I'm going to tell you how to prepare it, because it is important that you do it the correct way so that you don't hurt your guinea pigs. So roses do have quite a few vitamins. You know, they have vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin K, they have like phosphorus. They have quite a few things that are good for our guinea pig. And the leaves and the stem have a lot of fiber, which of course is really good for their digestion. There is a lot of water in them, which keeps them hydrated, so it's really great for their gut microbiome, keep everything running smoothly. And of course, offering your guinea pigs novel chew toys is great for their teeth, and it's great enrichment for their mind. So it gives them a new taste, it gives them a new smell, and all of those things are really great for your guinea pigs because they really encourage their natural foraging instinct, and they help with boredom. They can actually eat the whole entire rose plant as long as you follow the prep instructions I'm about to tell you. Okay, so firstly, it's important to recognize that a rose that's coming from like the florist, the grocery store, that's intended for a bouquet is not intended for consumption. So farmers are not necessarily being very careful with things like pesticide spraying, because they could spray it directly on the flower without being concerned someone's going to eat it, because they're not selling it for eating, right? They're meant to be visually enjoyed. Doesn't matter how many chemicals are on a rose. But that's okay because we can wash it off. Now with like veggies, I usually just recommend rinsing them. However, with a flower that could have more stuff on it, I like to submerge them. Bonus points if you like put it in a salad spinner, but that's not the easiest thing with a rose. So submerge it in water, leave it for a minute or two, and then just kind of shake the water off. And that way the water really has a chance to kind of penetrate into anything, kind of grab onto anything. Then more bonus points if you rinse it off again after submerging it. And that way you know that anything that's kind of stuck onto the outside is going to be totally fine. Don't worry about getting the inside, because like pesticides that are a concern are the ones that are sprayed directly on it. So those won't have penetrated the inside really, so this should be totally fine. The next thing that's important to do is remove the thorns. Sometimes they'll come with the thorns removed, but not always. So you want to run your hand like along the stem, make sure there's no sharp bits on it, remove any that are, because you don't want your guinea pig to take a chomp of this and, you know, get a mouth sore. That's the last thing we want. And lastly is to serve in moderation. So they can eat all parts of it, like I said. So you can even, like if you just got these rose bouquets and they're still fresh, you can feed them the leaves that you cut off. Because you know how when you first get a bouquet, you cut off the leaves so that none of them get submerged underwater? Or if you don't know that, I'm telling you now, cut the leaves off. You don't want leaves in your vase in the water. Those leaves, you can do the same thing, submerge and feed them to your guinea pig. And they can have the petals, they can have the stem, they can have all of it, okay? You won't have much of a rose hip, which is the fruit, if you have like a stem that you got from the store. There is a little bit of it starting to form, but if it's your own rose bush, basically that kind of little berry that forms after the flower gets pollinated, that's a rose hip, and they can also eat that. So if you give like one flower to each of your guinea pigs and that's it, that's totally fine. But if you maybe have a bigger bouquet, only 2 guinea pigs, what you can do is dry the flowers. Honestly, roses dry out super easily. Where are you going? Roses dry out super easily. So you don't even really need a dehydrator or anything. You can just kind of pluck the petals off and just leave them on the counter in a well-ventilated, air-conditioned area. And in a day or two, they'll be dried. And then you can just store them in an air-tight container and use them for like the next month or so. That is totally fine. I've even pulled the whole top off of a flower and left it out, and it dried out too. So not very hard to dry the petals. The leaves also dry out pretty well too. The stem, on the other hand, does not really dry out, so I would recommend giving the stem, and then, you know, whatever stem they don't eat, just throw away. Or, you know, you can leave stems in the fridge for a couple days to keep them longer, because the stems probably are going to last longer than the petals are. So the only thing with the stem, basically, if it's bad, that's like if it's mushy. So don't give them a mushy stem. That's disgusting. Don't do that. But then once you've dried a bunch of it, you can kind of dull that out just a little bit at a time. And yes, I'm including wilted roses. So what I do is if I get roses, I don't always get roses because, you know, roses don't last that long. I'm gonna be honest. I like the flowers that are gonna last a couple days. But when I get roses, basically just as they start to wilt, I'll feed them to my guinea pigs. So if it's not looking too good, that's when I'll just say, all right, this is the guinea pig's rose now. Or that's when I'll pluck the petals and let them dry out. I actually have like a Tupperware full of rose petals because they dry out so easy. It can be so overwhelming keeping track of all the different things you need to do for them. Last time you cleaned their cage? When's the last time you clipped their nails? You brushed their hair? I actually made something for you guys to make it a little easier, and it's totally free. Hair charts. It has all of the things you need to do every day, like, you know, spot clean every day, and you can mark off that you did it. Things you need to do every week, like check their weight once a week, and you can mark off so you know you did that. And then in addition to daily and weekly, things that you need to do once a month here, and then things that you need to do each year here. So share a bit of the love with your guinea pigs this Valentine's Day and let them try some roses. Happy Valentine's Day!